I want to go now to our health correspondent, Ashish Joshi, who's been having a lot of conversations with people around the country who have very personal connections to what happens with the bill today. Ashish, just talk to us about what you've been doing today.
Yes, thank you. Just listening to what you have to say about the country and the people and how it's going to impact so many lives, and listening to Beth talking to Kim Leadbeater and how emotionally charged that interview was. Well, I've been here in a house in southeast London speaking to an inspirationally brave woman who has been following every word this morning. And the reason Frank Sutton has been following this debate is because Frank has terminal stage 4 liver cancer. And last week, another bombshell... Liver disease. And last week, another bombshell was dropped on you. You have cancer.
Yeah.
And that was just last Tuesday you found out.
It was, yes.
And you don't know the prognosis yet?
Not quite yet. On the pathway. Have a meeting next week where everything will be discussed, and I'll know where I am, what we're doing, how long it's going to be, etc., etc.
When we were watching the debates, I can't imagine what must have been going through your mind. You watched it fail in 2015.
Yeah.
You weren't sick then. You weren't dying then. You are sick and you are dying now. You want to be able to have an assisted death should your pain become unmanageable. Mm-hmm. Watching that debate and when the result was announced, I don't think you'll mind me sharing this with our viewers.
No.
You burst into tears.
Probably will now. Yeah, I was very happy it had gone through. It's probably not going to go through totally in my lifetime, but for other people and the people I've met since my prognoses of both diseases, and for those people and the people I've met in my hospice, I'm just so happy. The jobs I've done in the past, as mentioned, talking about suicides and things like that, to have assisted dying to make, because if a patient wants to die, they're going to die, no matter what means. And I think that this bill going through is going to make it easier for families, patients, and just make it more dignified and lawful.
You said something very profound when that result was announced.
Yeah, it was that I can die in peace now. The legislation may not be through, but knowing that it's going to go through and knowing that in my mind it's just going to be more peaceful for me, because I don't know what's going to happen. And it's not all about pain. It's about physical ability. It's about being able to do things, you know, in your dying days, not just taking morphine. You know, it's about going out in a wheelchair and walking my dogs with my husband. It's about finishing off a felting project or something. It's a lot more than just pain. You know, people with neuron diseases in big chairs and things like that, how do they feel about their life? You know, and just to know that even if it's not pain for me, but it's a physical thing, I still want to wear heels. I still want to look pretty. You know, and those things are important, you know.
It's the quality of your life.
It is quality of life. Quality of life for me quality of life for my husband, my pets, my friends. Pain can be managed. A lot of that was said today. Pain can be managed. And if pain can be managed, then quality of life can be managed. However, if you don't have quality of life, you don't have a life.
I don't want to spend too much time talking about the arguments that people against assisted dying have expressed. But was there anything you heard today? And there were some very emotional arguments on both sides. Was there anything you heard today from those who are against assisted dying that might have registered with you about coercion, about vulnerable people? Yeah,
coercion was a big word. Vulnerable people was a big word. What I noticed was a lot of people who said they voted against it, the preamble that they gave and the stories and some harrowing stories that they gave, and all were very personal, which was good to hear from PMs. I still felt that their preambles almost said that they were for it, but then they said they were against it. So it was quite difficult because it was so personal, and that's the way it came across. It's quite difficult to believe their arguments.
A historic day for the country, but a very important day for you, Frank.
Very important day.
Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
We've been talking about the impact this legislation, this bill will have, and I think you've just heard probably one of the most profound testimonies from a person you will hear today about why they want this autonomy towards the end of their lives.